Welcome to Bortnik's YouTube channel. Today we're going to discuss the future of global trade, transportation, and the forces shaping of our world. Today we're diving into one of the most dramatic shifts in maritime history, the rise of Arctic shipping routes. As climate change melts polar ice, new passages are opening that could slash shipping times, boost trade efficiency, and redefine global chain supply. But with these opportunities come huge challenges, from unpredictable ice conditions to geopolitical instability and environmental risks. Joining us today, Dr. Binay, a leading expert on maritime transportation, to break down the current state of global shipping routes, the growing importance of Arctic, and what the future holds for these icy highways. Dr. Binay, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, hi, James. Thanks for inviting.
Of course, it's been a long time since we chatted for the last. Dr. Binay, I want to start by giving an overview, if you can provide that overview for people who are going to watch and listen to this podcast. In general, how the maritime routes are working nowadays. What are the busiest shipping routes? What are the logistics behind them? Who's transferring from goods from where to where? Just a general breakdown for everybody who's not interested in a topic or haven't heard anything about topic prior. How the logistics are working out nowadays in terms of the time, in terms of the cost, in terms of who's leading. Maybe they're leading companies, leading countries that are transporting. Anything that comes up in your mind, just to give a general breakdown overview, how the maritime routes and logistics are operating today.
Yeah, thank you. Nowadays, maritime routes, transporting and logistic, everything happening through Suez Canal and Panama Canals. This remain two of the most vital, I can say, arteries in global maritime trade. According to the Atlantic Council, the Suez Canal handle approximately 12 to 15% global trade. It's serving as a key link between Europe and Asia. And Panama Canal facilitates over 5% of world trade. So primarily connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. So Suez Canal between Europe and Asia, and Panama Canal, Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. This is a two canals, this connecting these four, I can say, continents. Yeah, different continents.
So those are the two busiest routes that we have today.
Suez Canal
and Panama Canal. They are the two
Panama
busiest.
Canal. Yeah, and this is busiest, and this drastically reduce transit times, because otherwise we have to go through Africa. You see. So
like around, like if like I don't have an option right now to pull up the map, but if they don't have Suez Canal, they have to do all this circle around Africa to get to Europe. In terms of the time, how much time in days the Suez Canal is saving for those shipping routes to cut through Suez Canal and avoid that cycle around Africa? 10 days, 20 days?
10 to 15 days, yeah.
10 to 15 days.
Yeah. 10 to 15 days. And also these routes, congestion of delay, accident, political instability or climate issue, also it affect on this. And increased fuel and operational cost, disrupted supply chain and delivery schedule, rising price of goods worldwide.
I think the recent example is when the Yemenis were bombing I don't remember what port was that, what were they connected to, but they are on that line to get into Suez Canal. And when they were bombing the shipping routes and the ships had to go through Africa, that was the recent example that it increased
when in Middle East,
in the Middle East, in terms of the cost, how much those 10-15 days are adding into the cost when the shipping routes cannot go through Suez Canal? If we can talk a little bit about
considerably, but I can't say how much it exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Percentage wise, like if we can frame it from like 10 to 30%, can we give a roughly estimate here?
Yes, we can give that at 12 to 15%. Yeah, this is Panama Canal. If I'm not Panama, Suez Canal.
Suez
Yeah,
canals from ships
yeah,
that the goods that are shipped from Asia to Europe.
yes,
Now,
yes, yes.
if we go into the Arctic routes, from shipping perspective, what makes the Arctic routes like the Northern Sea and their Northwest Passage so appealing? Are they going to save more time, and for what shipping route they will save time? From
No,
Asia? Yeah.
yes, is from my shipping perspective, Arctic routes, such as the Northern Sea routes, are the northwest passage and are gaining a more appeal due to their strategic and economic advantage, such as shorter transit times. The known as Northwest Passage, I mean NSR Northern Sea Route, can reduce the journey between Asia and Europe by up to 40%
So it's
compared to the
going to
Suez
be
Canal
even
route.
faster than Suez Canal.
Yes, yeah, 40%. And lower fuel consumption also, because shortage distance mean reduced fuel use and emissions. This is also for nature good. I mean, less emission of
Yes.
carbon.
So if we try to calculate the cost, if it's reducing the transportation by 40%, we can also say that it's potentially can reduce the cost of the transportation by 40%. And therefore the goods can be cheaper because the transportation will be cheaper. Is that how that works?
Yes, yes. It's reduced fuel consumption as well. It's shorter routes. So of course, this eventually this is more profitable for ships owners as well
And
for transporters.
do we have any countries right now that are trying to explore and develop those routes in terms of infrastructure? Is somebody's investing right now to build that infrastructure for to use those routes in the future? Because in my understanding, ships have to stop somewhere for refueling, for a break, or for
Yes,
emergency.
as per my observation, now Russia and China are leading Arctic ship investment.
They are the biggest
And
players.
yeah, their joint venture, like the Northern Sea Route, aim to reduce transit between Asia and Europe. And their strategic shift offers also alternative to traditional routes, and that will enhance global trade efficiency and resilience. As well, this route can cut transit by 10 to 15 days, other than Suez Canal, these shorter routes. So Russia and China, they are trying to do their a lot of investment, and they are trying to cover these routes and make. But there is a other things also melting. Additionally, that melting ice, Arctic ice, is making the region more navigable.
More appealing.
Yeah, more appealing. Yeah, and prompting this both country necessary infrastructure, ports, icebreakers, navigation system, support year-round commercial shipping. But as of now, this is not much there explored. I mean, not much done in that area. Therefore, not all ships owner, all transporters, they are taking risk to go there.
In terms of time frame, how long do you think it will take for China and Russia to develop the needed infrastructure to be able to use those northwest routes, as well as if we combine that together with the ice melting uh, trajectory that we have? At what
They are
year
they are aiming to do this by 2040.
by 2040? So about in about
2040.
15 years, those routes can be potentially operated and used for transportation of the goods, and they will reduce the traffic from the Suez Canal and also will save time, cost. and anything else that will be connected with it for the companies that will use those routes?
Yeah, obviously, this will be more practical and this will be more viable for regular commercial shipping. And I believe that Arctic offers real potential along with real challenges. Because
What are the key challenges? What are the key challenges in your opinion to use those routes now and later when the infrastructure will be more developed?
now infrastructure not being developed as well, there is ice. Yeah, not always this for all season trading is there possible. As well, fueling stations, because
So what makes it complicated at the moment is because it's only a half season route and you most likely need an icebreaker to use that passage, and that what complicates it,
icebreakers,
right?
yeah, and safety first for seafarers, and this is not safe as of now.
What makes it unsafe except the
Yeah,
fact of the ice
and
and
yeah, ice and as well emergency support. There is long distance not support any support available, and also ice remains unpredictable. You see, icebergs. Yeah, that for shipping not so good, and this is a lot of investment required to make this happen. As well, satellite navigation. Satellite also, when that in that area, this is they need required powerful icebreakers, and as of now not available. Russia and China, they are trying to make this area more navigable, but not as of now, not open for whole season. As well, international cooperation will be required to make ensure safety. And having these conflicts with Russia, China, USA, Middle East, is not possible. So first of all need to come together to provide solution.
now
And
this is the
most
north.
important, yeah.
Yep. This is the Northwest Passage. What about the passages that we have on top of Canada, the Arctic passages that we have here? Do you think the Canadian and the USA partners are trying to get into those passages as well? Are they competing with China and Russia, or they're like a little bit more behind? Because when I was trying to do my research, it looked like Canada barely has any icebreakers and they're barely building any infrastructure in the Canadian routes, in the Canadian Arctic routes.
Yeah, but Canada, that there is a Great Lakes, yeah, Great Lakes,
Yeah.
and there is also always that problem arise about with icebreakers. But Canada, they have icebreaker, but they have not so powerful icebreakers, which making routes more navigable. And Canada, of course, and having this recent unrest and recent conflicts, yeah, I can say with Canada and USA, that's also make effects on those area. That if not they come together, that will be not going to solve. I mean, Canada side Arctic.
Mm. And do you think, just if we dive a little bit into the politics, do you think that they're not so recent anymore, but the claims that Donald Trump brought up, that he wants to make Canada the 51st state and so on and so forth, is that part of the USA plan to get closer to the Arctic routes, or Arctic routes are not as important as we think for USA?
No, for USA, very important Arctic routes, because then they will have a control there. Then they have
How
their own
important is that control? What makes it so appealing?
controls that first of all toll fee and transportation passage for transportation. Then USA will have more their effects in that area, and also as you know that USA has always issue with China, yeah, and China and Russia are also trying to get this part, and therefore this is a part of that 51 states of United States Trump would like to make, because main thing for Trump that more business, more shipping routes, more navigational routes, And that makes sense because you see that Arctic routes today lacks basic things. But same way, if it makes more navigable, this will be for every and each one will be profitable, isn't it?
At
Yeah.
what? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So expanding on this, many parts of Arctic remain, more developed in terms of maritime infrastructure. As well, there can be built infrastructure, emergency ports, and more search and rescue resources. Then it routes will be more navigable. And same way we can see that especially these routes, northern sea routes, improving the infrastructure will be more ensure involvement for navigation.
Are you anticipating when the countries will start investing more into those routes and developing the infrastructure? Are you expecting any cities to be built uh, around that Arctic route in Russia and in Canada, and people will start moving there and will have jobs and operational capacities to maintain those cities and those emergency ports, break ports for stop and get the logistics that needs to be done? Would you expect some migration moving up north to develop all that infrastructure permanently?
Yes, but there is a, as of now, geopolitical issue. Yeah, that everyone want to have this part with them. I mean, China would like to have with them, Russia with them, USA with them. So therefore, if we not come to common denominator, this will be not happen to any shifting
Yeah.
from. Yeah. So shifting will be possible when there will be collaboration. And collaboration only we can have not on political way, uh, but on business way. That business, when we business create. So this is a today no geopolitical problem to bring. Of course, in future, if everyone come to some common denominator, I mean everyone, I mean that ruling country like USA, Russia, China, yeah, anyway, the biggest country. So and Canada as well. So then it can be possible to have shifting of city, but also here you have to here they will not easily decide which city will be there from which country. Something independently can be developed,
So
but
they
first
have
of all need to develop routes. Yeah, I mean safe routes, then it will come, because first come routes and business and then city will come.
so routes needs to be developed first, then business is going to come in, and then people will go there for the opportunities that will start generating there. And you foresee that coming by 2040 approximately.
Yeah, 2040, that is a target as am having Russia and China.
Dr. Binay, do you think I have missed anything important that we should mention about those routes, how they will be developed? What's the time frame? What's the infrastructure? Anything else do you think that is important to mention when it comes to those northwest
Yeah, Northwest
and
also.
northern sea route?
Yeah, here we have to put, a tipping point also could come because mix of timing, climate, and economics. Yeah. Right now, if you see Arctic routes are like a shortcut that not fully open. But as the ice keeps melting continuously due to climate change, that is also good things, for Arctic route. This is not for whole world good things. I mean, for planet, that
Yes.
this is melting due to climate change. But for especially for Arctic Sea, this is a good and will become easier to travel when this melt. Not required. There will be not required powerful ice breakers because it will be melting regularly. Yeah, and this will open longer during the year. That is a one big, I can say, trigger. And second, rising shipping cost and delay. If traditional routes like the Suez, or For Suez and Panama, there is a tolling price is very, very high. Yeah. And also congestion. Also, there is a queue. So this is a crowding and risky for
It's a very
company.
congested route.
Yes, and when we Arctic routes, this will be successful for navigable. This will be more seek faster and cheaper option. Then this will be saving time. Yeah, as I say already, and having a proper infrastructure. Also, this will benefits anyway outweigh the risk, right? So that is the thing. And as well, I would like to add here that if you see here, we can also accelerate or disturb this timeline. How? If this exact timeline, we can say that this climate change is double-edged sword for Arctic Sea. Yeah, one side this is a melting, this is a good. Another side, climate change also its effects on navigation. So one hand is a melting ice faster, which opens sea routes, I can say. And other place, this is for longer periods, making cheaper, quicker and cheaper. But same time, speed these things up, but with is unpredictable weather. This not always weather, similar. So that
Yeah.
also like a stronger storms, yeah, faster ice shifts. This also make risky. So this double sword when we say about climate change. So expanding on this, also reduce ice coverage means that Arctic routes and northern NSR, I mean northern sea routes, may become viable for longer season. But same time, if we uh, think about timeline, so potentially this transforming global trade flow. However, anyway, this is a benefits for uh, benefit for stakeholders who will be engaged in this. So thinner, also if you see that benefits countered by different new underwater hazards, I can say. That thinner ice can break apart unpredictable and drifting from one side to another side, and its weather event can escalate quickly, endangering vessels. So as you see that this is a from both sides. So we have to balance and balance when we can extra efforts will be put in this area to make more for navigation safer.
So we can conclude that by saying to have successfully utilize and start using those routes and develop them, first we need a stable weather. We need to have a proper analysis of how much the ice was melted, that it's safe to use that, even though if you have the icebreakers, you still need to know how thick or thin the ice to make sure that you can act accordingly in case of emergency. Then you need political stability. Countries have to come to some
Right.
sort of conclusion. How are they going to operate those routes? Because Arctic it's a neutral territory. So they have to come to some rules and regulations, how they're going to operate, who's going to be in charge of what, who's going to control what and how. And then business will come up because they will see the opportunity for investment. And after the business, we'll see just ordinary people coming for those opportunities to operate those ports, those cities, those logistical hubs that will be part of those routes. Is that the case with that global trend in terms of Arctic routes?
Yes, 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 absolutely, absolutely. When everything will be balanced, I mean uh, geopolitical unrest, whatever happening now, and there will be more collaboration. It will possible in that way. Then and also as you say about ice, that we can't depends on climate change. We have to put our resources, that countries should put their resources to make it happen as it required to be happen, and also to create more infrastructure. But anyway, eventually for everyone, it will be beneficial. Arctic.
You mean for all the
Arctic.
countries, because that will reduce the cost and will increase the profit for everyone.
Yes. So everyone, I mean, all country, when they come on table and they discuss and find solution, this will be happen.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see countries are thinking about profits and pros of global cooperation and will connect with each other more versus the trends that we're seeing right now.
Yes, because no one can exactly predict the future, especially when it comes to the maritime industry. Here is non-predictable things is going on, and fully replace traditional routes also will be not possible, isn't it? No, we having even Arctic, routes, we can't replace 100% Suez Canal and Panama Canal. It will be less, but it will
Just
be
reduce the
balanced more.
congestions, yeah.
Yeah, there will be balance. There will be not congestion as now. Yeah, there will be no more, and there will be also economy of fuel as well, less emission of CO2.
So there's
So
a lot of pros, but just we need to wait for weather condition and political stability.
yeah, because it's still seasonal. So few months a year, and the weather is unpredictable. When weather is good, everyone can go through Arctic Sea. But when weather is not good, you can't go through Arctic Sea. That will be more risky, and safety first. Yeah. But however, I can say that this become a strong backup option.
Dr. Binay,
Yeah.
you can finish the statement.
Yeah, strong backup option. And if we sit shortcut like a open part of the year for certain cargo and company, we might choose to save time and money, right? And as well, this route will be more valuable for timing, for time and condition.
Reducing time, cost, and as we mentioned before, all that requires it's political stability and waiting for ice to melt a little bit more. Dr. Binay, thank you so much for being with me today. That was great. I think we'll come with more episodes to describe more as we go how things are developing in maritime, and if we see any companies or any countries that are investing in technology of the icebreakers or emergency ports, and how things will develop in the Arctics, because in my opinion, that region can become the new trending and hot region in the future that can save money and increase profits to the countries and the transportation companies. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.